Hello Underdogger, it's your boy Underdog Recapped. Before we start, warning, spoilers ahead. Today, we are going to recap an Indian psychological thriller movie released in 2020, called Hacked. A young woman finds her life being destroyed after she rejected the love of a young boy. Turns out, that the young boy is a professional hacker who used his skill to hack into the woman's personal life and blackmail her into submission. Can she escape from the clutch of this teenage hacker? Let's find out together, in a doggy-styled recap. The film begins with a woman named Samira waiting for someone late at night in her office. However, after waiting for some time, the person she was supposed to meet tonight didn't come at all, so she left the office. When she leaves the office to go to a hospital, a mysterious person secretly takes her picture from afar. At the hospital, Samira visits her mother, who has been comatose for a long time. After that, she drives home and meets a young boy named Vivek, waiting for her in the parking lot. They chat for a while as Samira thanks him for helping her with parking and carrying her bag inside. Later, when Vivek returns to his room, it turns out it was him all along who has been stalking and taking Samira's pictures secretly. The next day, Samira meets with Rohan, who lives in the apartment room below her. Rohan came with a plumber to help Samira with her plumbing problem. Samira received a call from a man named Kapoor at that exact moment, but she did not answer it. In a flashback, Samira recalled her relationship with Kapoor and thought that he pretended to love her and make her his secret lover. Later that day, Samira asks Vivek to pick up her phone at a nearby phone store. When Vivek arrives at the shop, he finds that Samira's phone was made worse by the repairman, and he refuses to take responsibility after scamming Samira and Vivek. Vivek then tells Samira that the repairman will fix the phone in 2 days as he plans to do something to the repairman. Meanwhile, when Samira is at her office, Kapoor's assistant comes and asks her to meet with Kapoor as he is doing a photo shoot nearby. When Samira arrives to meet Kapoor, Vivek is still stalking her from a rooftop with jealousy. Then, inside Kapoor's room, Samira and Kapoor argue about their relationship. However, Kapoor manages to manipulate and seduce her to avoid the topics. Later at night, Vivek sees Kapoor and Samira arrive at Samira's apartment. Seeing the couple's closeness, Vivek is fueled with more jealousy. After that, Vivek used his hacking skill to insert the repairman's photo into the police wanted list to trap him. Vivek waits at the phone shop and watches as police escort the repairman the next day. He laughs as the police release the man after being suspected as a wanted person. Vivek then forces the man to compensate Samira's phone after scamming them if he doesn't want to be again framed as a wanted person. Threatened by Vivek, the man then agrees to give him a new phone as a replacement. A while later, Samira celebrates her birthday party with friends and relatives. However, she seems disturbed because Kapoor did not attend her party even after she called him. Amidst the party, Vivek shows up and gives a new phone to Samira as her birthday gift. The party goes on with everyone having a good time except Samira, who had been broken-hearted because of Kapoor's doing. At the end of the party, Samira weeps and gets drunk while Vivek tries to console her. As she is affected by the alcohol, Samira does not realize when she and Vivek get intimate and spend the night together. When she woke up the following day, she was shocked to find that Vivek was sleeping next to her. Before Samira could process the situation, Kapoor knocked on Samira's apartment door, making her panic. She then pretends that no one is home to make Kapoor leave as she doesn't want Kapoor to see Vivek in her room. Later that day, Samira could not focus on her work and got scolded by her boss. Vivek then comes to Samira's office, and when he arrives, he hears Samira's boss ranting at her. Soon after, Vivek suddenly bursts into the meeting room and tells everyone to leave. Samira gets irritated when she sees Vivek and tells him to leave immediately. She also tells him that last night was a mistake and she don't means to be with him. Hearing this, Vivek gets angry and tells her that she will need him sooner or later. At night, Vivek then uses his hacking skill to do something sinister to Samira's company. When Samira goes to work the next day, she finds that everyone at the office is panicking because their company shares decrease rapidly as many company secrets are leaking to the public. Later on, Vivek calls Samira and tells her that he is the one who leaked the company information because he doesn't like Samira's boss scolding her yesterday. Vivek also reveals his identity as a professional hacker to Samira. Hearing this, Samira then asks to meet with Vivek at a nearby coffee shop. When they meet, Samira asks Vivek to stop hacking into company information even though Vivek says he can't accept Sam's boss scolding her as he loves her. Samira then insists that what happened between them was a mistake, and she does not have a feeling toward him. At that moment, Vivek taunts Samira by mentioning their intimate session last night, infuriating Samira and forcing her to slap him in public. Samira then leaves the coffee shop while Vivek sits there brokenhearted. After that, Vivek secretly goes to Samira's apartment room to plant hidden cameras all over the room. Not only that, but Vivek also rented an abandoned gas station in a remote place as his base operation to spy on Samira. With this, Vivek now has hacked into Samira's personal life, even into the detail of her daily routine. Days after, when Samira goes to work, all of her colleagues seem to act cold toward her. It turns out, the whole company suspects Samira as the culprit of the recent information leaks because the investigator found out the leaks were sent from Samira's email. Samira tries to defend herself, but the evidence is pointing to her. With no choice, the company then decides to fire Samira. Later that day, Samira decides to visit her mother while thinking about today's event. Soon after, Vivek hacks into Samira's phone and sends audio telling her that she has to accept him before 6 tomorrow if she wants to return to her previous life, or if not, she has to face the consequence. Irritated by Vivek's audio logs, Samira decides to smash her phone, ending the audio. The next day, Samira meets with Kapoor and admits her mistake with Vivek the other night. Vivek thought their accident was because of love, and now he is fueled with a vengeance after she rejected him. Kapoor tries to console Samira and says he can handle Vivek as he is just a young boy. Then, Kapoor invites Samira to go to Mumbai with him, to which she agrees. However, Vivek finds out about this and plans to ruin Kapoor and Samira's relationship. Days later, Samira and Kapoor spend their quality time together while Vivek watches with anger from his spy camera. When Kapoor and Samira arrive back at the airport, the media quickly surround them to ask questions about their relationship because Vivek has managed to leak their private video to the public. The panicking Kapoor decides to leave the airport alone, leaving Samira alone. Later on, Kapoor attends an interview with the media and states that he does not know Samira as he only met on a flight while traveling. Seeing that, Samira gets brokenhearted even more and decides to visit her mother instead. But when she arrives at her mother's room, Vivek is waiting for her there. Vivek and Samira argue as she insists on rejecting him even after he threatens to hack into the hospital system. Vivek then says that he wanted Samira to come to him on her own, but now he has changed his mind. He mentions that Samira and Kapoor's hot photos are currently trending on the internet. With pride, he states that Samira's life has gone to hell after she broke the heart of a hacker. Samira denies Vivek's threat, saying that he will not be able to hack her life via the internet, then swears that she will take back her life. Hearing this, Vivek laughs and says that everything depends on the internet in today's world. Full of confidence, Vivek then leaves the room. Somewhere else, Vivek is giving a dress to his maid. He also asks the servant to pretend to be Samira while passionately touching the girl. During his actions, he gets mad because he realizes the fact that his servant is not Samira, even though he asks the servant to pretend. He acted violently and ordered the servant to leave. The next day, Samira receives bad news that her comatose mother is now dead. On the day of her mother's funeral, Samira is accompanied by Rohan while Vivek watches from a distance. Out of the blue, Kapoor comes to Samira to offer his condolences. However, Samira rejects all of Kapoor's words and tells him to leave her. After that, a group of policemen comes to Vivek in his grandmother's apartment. They got a warrant to investigate Vivek's actions after Samira filed a complaint against him to the police. Vivek is then taken by the police to the police station to be investigated. There, Vivek is interrogated by several inspectors, but he insists on acting innocent. Amidst the investigation, the inspector then leaves Vivek for a moment to smoke. Having a chance to outsmart the cops, Vivek hacks into the inspector's cell phone to blackmail the cops. When the inspector returns to interrogate him, Vivek threatens him by revealing the inspector's secrets, forcing them to free Vivek. After that, Vivek hacked into Samira's social media accounts and posted even more humiliating things about her. Days later, Rohan and Samira employ another hacker to help them fight Vivek. However, Vivek is more skilled than the hacker and manages to outsmart and threaten him, forcing the hacker to flee in panic. In desperation, Samira tries to escape from Vivek but cannot do it as there are cameras everywhere to track her. Then, Vivek comes to meet her and says that now he does not want to make her his girlfriend anymore and instead uses her for his lust. He then threatens to keep hacking her life if she does not comply with his demands. The next day, Samira and Rohan meet at the Royal Bar to discuss their plan. Vivek cannot eavesdrop on their conversation with loud music blasting in the bar. They plan to uncover Vivek's secret to counter his act. Samira and Rohan then find out about Vivek's maid and go to interrogate her. When they question the maid, it turns out she's not a maid but instead a shop owner who becomes a victim of Vivek's crime. Samira also uncovered the truth about another Vivek victim who took her own life because of Vivek's doing. After knowing all this information, Samira and Rohan meet at a public cafe. They try to remove their SIM card to prevent Vivek from hacking their phone. But they fall into Vivek's trap as he hacks into the other customers' phones to listen to their conversation. Samira then explains her plan to lure Vivek to a hotel room. There, she will blackmail Vivek about his past crime to scare him and leave her alone. Then, she will ask Rohan to come and help her arrest Vivek with the evidence they have. The next day, Samira calls Vivek to meet her in a hotel room as she pretends to submit to Vivek. However, Vivek, who already knew about this plan to trap him, decides to follow along. When Rohan is waiting at a van outside the hotel, Vivek knocks on the truck and blows a dart with paralyzing poison to knock Rohan out. Inside the hotel room, Samira thought she had outsmarted Vivek, but when Vivek showed a picture of the unconscious Rohan outside, Samira had once again lost to him. Vivek says that has the antidote and Rohan will be dead if Samira refuses to go with him. With no choice, Samira is then taken to Vivek's hideout. Then, at the hideout, Samira sees Vivek's grandmother has also fallen to Vivek's violence. Samira then says that the hotel's CCTV had taken their video when they left the hotel. With that evidence, if something happens to Samira, Vivek cannot escape from his crime. However, Vivek uses his hacking skill to manipulate the CCTV footage and delete the evidence of his involvement. With all of this, Vivek feels confident and starts to touch Samira's body. However, Samira manages to smash her head against Vivek and free herself while knocking Vivek down. Samira then grabs a crowbar and uses it to hit Vivek repeatedly. Samira then tells Vivek that deleting the evidence also gives her an advantage as there is no evidence of her ending Vivek's life at his hideout. After ending Vivek, Samira drives back to Rohan's van and injects him with the antidote. At the end of the film, Samira is interrogated by the police investigating Vivek's death. However, the police could not find evidence of Samira's involvement as Vivek accidentally deleted the evidence and turned it in her favor. After that, Samira decides to live a life with Rohan, who always faithfully stays by her side. Let us know what you think in the comment below. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you in our next recap.